HIMS and HERS stock has been on an absolutely crazy run. It's up a staggering 118% in the past 21 trading days. So in this video, I'm going to be talking a bit about HIMS stock as well as what I'm doing with my shares personally, right? Because you can see on the 25th of March, I posted, is it time to buy the dip on HIMS and HERS stock again? And in the video, I was talking about, I was just starting to buy, right? Because you can see that it was a huge decline and I was just starting to buy. So I didn't manage to catch the bottom because I was buying somewhere here. But it did go all the way down to $24 and now it's up to about 50 something dollars, right? So in this video, I'm going to be talking a bit about the fundamentals and then I'm going to tell you what I'm doing with my HIMS and HERS stock, right? So this is the news item of the day. It's HIMS and HERS actually plan to offer $450 million convertible note, right? But we should always dig deeper into the article because the devil is always in the details. So you can take a look. HIMS and HERS stock is planning to raise $450 million of convertible senior notes. So what are convertible senior notes? Convertible senior notes are just bonds that have interest rate but also convertibility into the stock, right? So you can see the stock is actually down 1.8% when the S&P, the Nasdaq and the Dow Jones are positive today, right? And this stock would be up like 5% today if it wasn't for this news, right? So this is because people are scared of the dilution, etc, right? But in a while, I'm gonna explain to you why this is actually good news if you're a HIMS shareholder, right? So the company may also allow up to a $67.5 million additional purchase, right? So when companies put something like this basically means that if there's demand for it, they will sell it, right? Because if not, they wouldn't have paid the legal fees and stuff like that because you have to understand, before they actually put this out, they have to file some stuff with the banks and all of that, so they are like ready to go, right? If there's a demand, we can just sell, right? If not, they have to, we have to delay, blah blah blah. So the proceedings are earmarked for corporate purposes and also to accelerate global expansion, right? This is very interesting because they did mention global expansion in the past earnings call, right? We just didn't know it was coming so fast, right? Because earnings was like what, 3-4 days ago, and now they're already raising $500 something million for global expansion, right? And this is the next interesting part, which is both organically and through strategic acquisitions, right? So I think HIMS is gearing up for another acquisition because if you're talking about organic growth, they have more than enough free cash flow for organic growth, right? Although no definitive agreements for acquisitions are in place, right? So of course they say this, but maybe they're already in discussions of something, right? This expansion comes at a time when the company shows robust financial metrics, right? So I'm going to talk a bit about the price here, right? Because you can see in this run-up, actually, they didn't do anything like this, right? And I think this was because they were unprepared. This was the first time that maybe they experienced such a huge volatile move to the upside, right? And when you have this huge volatile moves, people will want to buy this senior convertible notes, right? Because you have to understand something about senior convertible notes is that the interest rates are very, very low, maybe like 1, 2, or maybe 3%, right? But it can be converted into stock, and that's why the stock is down today, right? Because when you convert it into stock, obviously you're diluting the existing shareholders. But the thing is, this allows the company to get their hands on capital very cheaply, right? If you're paying 2% for capital, inflation is more than 2%, right? So I don't know what the strike price is, but maybe it's 70, right? So let's assume it's 70. So if the stock is above 70, basically the owner of this convertible bonds can basically convert it into common stock, right? Which is the stock that we are all buying now. So next, let's take a look at some of the details for the notes, right? The notes, which will be senior and unsecured, will mature on May 15, 2030, right? So I think they are going to do the offering on May 15. Unless repurchased, redeemed, or converted earlier, interest will be paid semi-annually, and HIMS and HERS will have the option to redeem the notes for cash under certain conditions starting May 19, 2028. Note holders can convert their notes in certain circumstances, and HIMS and HERS can choose to settle conversions with cash or shares of its Class A common stock or combination of both, right? Next, they talk about some of the smaller things in the note offering, right? And this, I also don't understand what this is actually. It's a cap call transaction, right? So apparently this is meant to reduce potential stock dilution and cash payments, right? So I don't really know what this is about. This is the only real part of the article that I don't really understand, right? So next, I want to take a look at Google Trends for HIMS, right? So you can see that Google Trends for HIMS is actually very, very positive. It's predicted that the next week the Google Trends will be at what, 94. So this is very, very good for HIMS, right? Because don't forget, HIMS is not only about the stock, right? HIMS is also about the business, right? And the business, if you get this kind of search terms, probably there's a lot of people going to the website. There's a lot of people buying stuff, right? So next, out of topic, but good information for you guys, right? Obviously, go and follow HIMS House because they are posting a lot of good data, right? And I wouldn't be able to follow like as HIMS as well as I do if I didn't follow this channel, right? And the last thing I want to talk about is obviously the short interest. I don't think this has been refreshed yet, but you can see that the short interest is still 31.21%, right? So the off-exchange short volume is about 62%. And this has actually been going higher and higher, right? So I don't exactly know how this off-exchange thing works, so I'm not going to comment too much, but it went from like, I think 45% to 61%, right? I don't know, it might be like options or something like that. And when people see dark pools, they automatically assume, oh, hedge funds are up to something shady, right? But I don't think it's so much of that, more towards hedge funds actually use dark pools to like hide their trades, right? Because people don't want other people to know like what they're doing, right, before they actually manage to do it. And also maybe they don't want to get like short squeezed or something, right? But speaking of short squeezes, short squeeze is still a potential. The stock has been going up like crazy, and this is the last part that I want to talk about, right? I want to admit that I was wrong, right? Because after earnings, it was down like 7% pre-market, so I was like, it's probably gonna chop around for the next few weeks, but honestly, HIMS has been an absolutely stellar performer, right? Because we are talking about like $37, $38 somewhere here that I was saying is going to chop around. And now we're already at $51, right? So I think this is just a small pullback, a small correction. It's quite healthy. So I think more upside is still very, very likely, right? But I don't think you should be hopping into the stock right now, right? Because obviously you can take a look at the RSI. It's about 80 now. So I'm not going to sell. I'm just going to continue to hold, but I'm not adding shares aggressively now, right? I'm not going all in now, right? Because obviously you can see from the lows, I was adding somewhere here, right? So why would I be adding here? So I already used up a lot of my cash adding position somewhere here. So at this current point in time, the risk reward is definitely less favored than when it was at $24, $23 when I was adding some shares as well, right? So yeah, that's about all I wanted to share. If you did enjoy the video, do help me smash up the like button, hit subscribe, and also hit the bell button. With that being said, have a fantastic day ahead and peace out.